Hey, hi everyone. Hello, Kencho. Hi, Renuka.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Alison. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome, welcome, Naomi. It's good to have you here. So we are waiting also for Gary. I think he's connecting. Welcome, everyone. It's beautiful to have you here and these beautiful smiley faces. I would like to, before we get started, today we are going to talk about the Transformational Travel Design program. And we have with us Professor Ivana, which is the facilitator of the course. We have the opportunity as well to meet other people. So I would like to take advantage of this opportunity before we start with the presentation to network and meet each other. So I will invite you to put on the chat your social media, your website, email information, so you can reach out each other and connect with each other. And I will also like to hear from you, like very short, like 20 seconds, who you are, where are you from? Because I know we have international people here in the room, and a little bit more about what you do, right? So if you have a business, the name of your business, what do you do? Like 20 seconds each. How does it sound? We have Tammy. Hello, Tammy. Gary. Good to see you, Gary. Hello. We are just about to do a small introduction, everyone. And then I will hand into Ivana, who she will do the presentation for the course today. So let's start with Kensho and then Renuka. Feel free to unmute yourself. Wait, we cannot hear you. Let me help you to unmute now.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Kencho Wangdi, and I'm a tour operator in the Kingdom of Bhutan in the Himalayas. Previously, I was the editor of the National Daily Bhutan. Then I also dabbled in filmmaking before I found my calling in tourism, and I've been a tour operator ever since. Nice to meet you all, and warm greetings from Bhutan.
Greetings. Thank you, Kensho, for introduction. We have also Anna and Valerie. Welcome. We are just sharing very quick introduction, everyone, and then we will start with the presentation with Professor Ivana. Feel free to share in the chat as well contact details. Okay, let's hear from Renuka and then Alison.
Hi, this is Renuka from Pune in India, and I'm part of the travel industry since over 30 years. And in the past 15 years, I've been focusing on Africa. Africa with Renuka is my B2C platform, and happy to meet all of you. I've also been into representations for a very long time, and since I heard from Bhutan, I was responsible for launching the Trans-Bhutan Trail in India last year for that was the Royal Project. Yeah. Yes, so happy to be here and eager to learn. Thank you.
Thank you, Renuka. It's interesting to see the connections. Okay, let's hear from Alison and then Tammy.
Hi everybody, I'm Alison Anderson. I'm based in Hobart, Australia, in Tasmania. I am a tourism consultant, so I work with destinations all over Australia and the Pacific to help them think through a lot to do with destination stewardship and destination management and thinking through new and different ways of doing things. I'm also chair of a regional development corporation and deputy chair of a regional tourism organisation. So I have a few different interests in this.
Beautiful. Thank you, Alison, for sharing. Thanks for being here today. I'm going to say welcome to Masahiko and Sayuri. We are introducing ourselves very quickly before we start with the presentation. You're very welcome. Let's hear from Tammy and then Gary.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tammy, and I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa. I work for a company called Six Senses, which is part of the Intercontinental Hotel Group. So our company manages hotels, resorts, and spas. We have had a presentation before, so I'm just very interested, both professional and personal. So
Lovely. Thank you, Tammy, for being here with us today. Okay, let's hear from Gary and then Sharuki.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Gary. I'm also based in Cape Town, but I work for an organization that is effectively a co-management entity for marine protected areas. And the tourism focus is I work on our tourism strategy. We work on building social enterprise tourism businesses. We fund them with the objective of turning tourism businesses into entities that provide sustainable funding for marine protected areas. Our objective is to create businesses where 100% of the profits go directly into marine protected area management of the marine protected areas we're responsible for. And those are mostly in the Philippines, Indonesia, and Northwest Pemba in Tanzania at the moment.
Beautiful, Gary. Thanks for sharing. Good to see you. Okay, let's hear from Sayuri. Sorry about the names, guys. Sayuri and then Masahiko.
Hi, my name is Sayuri from Tokyo, Japan, and I was worked about 12, 13 years travel industry, but I quit all my career last year, and then I became a freelancer to make awakening of people to live as much as their true selves with the travel. And now I got many requests to support Japanese travel planning and also having some like a spiritual feeling and making a retreat tour or something like that. But I'm very on my first freelancer year, so I'm on my way, and I'm on the different way to live. So I now build up my life. So thank you for being here.
That's so exciting. I love to hear all the stories. Thanks for sharing with us. Okay, let's hear from Masahiko and then Naomi.
Hello, my name is Takai. I'm also based in Tokyo. I'm trying to produce regenerative tourism in Japan. So I actually don't work in Tokyo. I work in a rather more rural areas to produce regenerative tourism in Japan. Thank you.
Thank you, Takai. And let's hear from Naomi and then Anna.
Good morning, everybody. I've got my video off because it's 7 a.m. here and I didn't know I was going to be on screen. So I'm really sorry, but next time you'll see me. I'm from the Blue Yonder. We're based in Kerala, but I'm currently in the UK. Kerala in India, sorry. We're a responsible tourism social enterprise, 20 years old this year. And our focus is on, well, of course, making places better for the people who live there and the people who visit. You'll all know about all of that, I'm sure. Currently, our focus is actually on co-creating climate resilient and climate responsible tourism. So in Kerala, where we work, all of our communities are being impacted by climate change, due to their location, mainly. But we're not just working in Kerala, we are elsewhere in India too, and looking for partnerships worldwide with people who also want to do the same, so that we can work together on that. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Naomi. Beautiful to hear from you. And let's hear from Anna.
Good morning. I'm based in Dublin and it's 7 a.m. here. That's why, for the same reason like Naomi, I'm not ready to kick off the day yet with my presence. So I've been in tourism for 25 years, over 25 years, in different roles and in different markets. And now I'm in Ireland, and we offer tours to Ireland for small groups of families, individuals. And we started kind of a new line, women-only small groups, which would like to fill up with exclusive experience and mindful experiences, make it something special for women. That's why I'm here to learn, like, what are the new trends in tourism and what else we can offer on top of the natural beauty of Ireland and history and heritage, which is like still great but quite common. So here to learn.
Beautiful, Anna.
Thank you,
Thanks
Sonia.
for sharing. Thank you. Don't forget, everyone, to put your details on the chat if you want to connect after that. And after hearing all your introductions, I can say that you are in the right place. So I'm gonna now introduce Ivana, so she can also, I think you have permissions, Anna, Ivana, to share your screen. So she's gonna talk about the Transformational Travel Design course. Yes, here we are. Okay, Ivana, so the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm based in Serbia in Europe. So for me, it's good morning. Here it's 8 o'clock. I feel again privileged to be here and hear these amazing stories because I'm so happy to see how many different things we're all focused on in our careers. I've been writing them down. I can, almost imagine us working together. You have me like inspired like 8 o'clock in the morning, so thank you for that. Let me share a few things about our course and what we do here, but normally it would be fair, and that's how I start all of the courses that I facilitate and teach, is by us sharing what the beginning of this shared journey is. So I would this time share with what my journey has been here. So you will see why you inspired me so much since the moment you started talking about who you were. Well, I have been a course designer and facilitator for quite a while. I was, maybe still am, a university professor. So I was an associate professor at one of the universities in Serbia, Singidunum University, for 17 years. And I taught through different universities around Europe, mostly in Germany. I did a PhD in sustainable tourism in protected areas. So Gary, what you said spoke to me in particular. So thank you so much for sharing this. Obviously my original area of interest and expertise was sustainable travel, especially in protected areas, with the origins of regenerative travel back then, because I'm talking about 2009 and 2014. I did a lot of research on those topics, published papers and a book and so on. However, how I ended up in Transformational Travel Council, previously I was a volunteer there, did some research and so on, met beautiful people, got hooked on this feeling that we all share as people who share our minds and hearts about what this world can be through travel. And I have been a member of various global organizations in sustainable and responsible travel. Seeing how much time and energy we have invested in all of that, but haven't seen so much result so far, it got me thinking why it's like that. And it's how I ended up actually on transformational travel, that being a pathway or a missing link between where we are today as a world and world of travel, where we want to get a transformational approach to how we design experiences, whether we are destination managers or small business owners, it applies the same way. So I left my university career last year and joined the TTC as the head of education and research in July last year, when I started redesigning these courses that I'm presenting today with Sonia. I have been privileged to lead 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3-day courses and one long 5-week course so far. And for me, this experience was more than beautiful. It was memorable, meaningful, and transformative in so many ways. So what I enjoy very much here is learning from my course participants and being privileged to lead them on this hopefully formative journey. So what my challenge here here today is that to walk with you through these journey footprints and present how and what we do, but without actually revealing too much in advance, because I don't want to spoil the journey for everyone here. There's one more reason to this as well, why I have this as a challenge, because this educational journey through the courses is unique, and it's personal, and therefore very often it's intimate, and many of the elements of these journeys are protected with me and the little cohorts that take part in that. But let me give it a shot again. So this journey actually takes us to develop skills and knowledge, obviously, in how we design transformative experiences for our clients, and what benefits there can be not only for our clients or travelers, but more importantly, the local communities and the nature of the destinations we go to, and of course, people and partners that we collaborate with on these projects. However, it speaks even more on the feelings and discovery and the experiencing, not only for our clients, travelers, but also for everybody else involved in these experiences that we're crafting. So our journey, educational journey here, I want to present how we approach the entire experience design here. And we use the courses as our own case studies. So the way we approach experience design and travel, that's the same principles that I use for these little courses that we have. So basically, there you will see here pre, during, and post phases of the educational journey. So it starts usually a week before the course activities or the sessions, and then the journey unfolds. It's I will explain why I say the destination is the same, but no journey is alike there. And it usually kind of ends 2 weeks after the course sessions, when we hand in our capstone projects, which I will explain what they are a little bit later. However, it never ends there, because it somehow, once you're in this realm on transformational travel and finding your own community of people who understand each other and speak the kind of a same language, the story basically never ends. But I will let you decide on that. So let me just present a couple of formats that we have in these courses. So because we have developed them through listening to the people, what they actually need, how they can fit all these courses into their career life and personal lives, because we all live in very fast-paced lives, obviously. So what we have developed so far are the so-called intensive courses that last 3 or 5 days. I will explain. Then we have a 5-week signature course, and we have something in between, what's called five a day intensive stretch. Okay, so how do we do that? As I told you before, the journey starts in a week before the course. So what happens then? We use this week that you have access on the platform that we're using for this. So it's a teachable platform, and this is a real blended learning, which means that we combine in session and out of the session materials and the parts or elements of this educational journey. So in the pre-course, we get slowly immersed into the topics that we cover, but also allows course participants for some pre-course reflection, who they are, where their businesses are, where they want to get, and so on. But also very important for me is this opportunity to learn more in-depth details on who each individual participant is, and how I can tweak and adapt the course for you. Usually what happens in this week is that we have a pre-course survey that we actually later use in the course itself. We have a reading task and so on. It depends. So when the journey starts unfolding, so as you have seen, I have taught 6 or 7 courses already. But no course has been the same, no 2 courses. So basically the destination is the same. We always end up where we want to be, the way I designed it. There are no 2 same journeys, because each group is unique and individual, and I follow our own internal rhythm of how we do things and what we're interested in. So for the intensive courses, they're highly concentrated and immersive experiences, and there's a lot of focus on the pre-session work, because we need to come and jump in ready, because we only actually have 3 or 5 days to cover everything that I planned for us here. And there's also some of a dedicated individual time for capstone projects after the sessions, and so after the 3 and the 4 or 5 days. So in 5 days, it's just a little bit more relaxed, because it's less hours a day, and there's more time for integration, basically, after the core sessions end. So what does it look like in the span of 3 or 4 or 5 days that we spend together? On the first days, we kind of settle in the storyline that we have. I have a theme for this. It's kind of funny and amusing, also fun. We here define our stories and their roles. And the theme is knowledge gardening. So that's my theme, how we use this time to actually plant the seeds and then nurture them until we develop the entire ideas into what they can become in travel, and with the impact, positive impact on the world beyond travel. And then in the middays, we focus on planning and preparing the basic things, the conditions for our clients' transformational journeys, and how through them we want to accomplish the positive impact for the nature and communities of the destination we operate in. And how the journey concludes is us paying attention to how our work actually resonates with the traveler and the world beyond. In the 5-week signature courses, we meet twice a week, and we cover the same topics as in the intensive courses, but there is a more balanced approach to this. There's a far more time for solo and group reflection and contemplation during and post sessions. So usually the capstone projects end up being developed in more detail while the course is ongoing. And obviously I'm able to provide more support during these 5 weeks that we spend together. And there is an option of 5-day intensive stretch. So it's a kind of a blend of intensive and signature formats. They're also focused and concentrated. They happen in 5 days, in 2 weeks. I will show you later. And also this allows more group reflection and contemplation than shorter intensive courses. So again, there's more time for me to be able to provide more support for the course participants. And how the journeys end, each of those 2 weeks after, we have capstone projects that we develop during the courses, and this is how we basically graduate after sending in the capstone projects 2 weeks after we part from the sessions. So for the 3-day intensives, we also have a support hour. So I had recently a March 3-day intensive course. So today we're meeting to actually get back together and see where the projects are and how I can actually help them at this phase, because they are focused on completing them in the next 10 days. And what happens post-course, there are some post-journey elements that are secret, and I want to keep them secret. So Sonia was one of my course participants, so you know what it is. And of course, what happens post-course is the capstone project. So the entire approach of knowledge gardening, the theme that I have chosen, planting our ideas from seed to and nurturing to plant, is basically approach to how we develop capstone projects. But what are the capstone projects and what do they require from me and my course participants? Basically, they come out as the culminating learning experience from the courses, but also they come out as a graduation submission. But most importantly, they're used for guiding your, and I would like to say our, learning process. What comes out may be a market-ready product right now, like 2 weeks post-course, or it can be a development concept that participants save and work on the details for future. So what I have been able to see is many of those offerings live on the market already and being rather successful. Others are still preparing for them, to finding the right moment in professional personal lives to send them out to the real world. How are capstone projects integrated into the course itself? So it's important for me that everybody chooses the topics early on, so we can basically apply in our heads, in our notes, or whatever we talk about directly to the projects that you are personally and professionally invested in. And I'm there just to guide you and support you in those ideas. They do change, that's for sure, while the course is ongoing, but that's absolutely fine. And they're actually used as a roadmap for project development. We aim, and like 99% of the times we succeed in having 50 to 70% of the projects completed while the courses are still ongoing. And so you just go through the refinement phases during the 2 weeks after we part from the courses. So basically, this educational journey is hopefully transformational. You will see why, if you join us, you will see why the transformations cannot be guaranteed or promised, but they can be co-created and guided. Since this is a journey, every journey has their own stories. And in these stories, a story of knowledge and change gardening, obviously every story has heroes with different roles. And here I take on the role of a steward of our garden, and the gardeners being my course participants who actually nurture the business or ideas from seed to plant. I make sure that the entire experience is a highly personalized, and very often it is emotionally engaging. So, Sayuri, for example, what you said here very, very much resonates with what course participants actually go through when they spend time with us in the courses. Usually people are there to either develop what they're working on or finding a new way how to provide the positive impact for the destinations that they care so much about, but also finding a new role for their personal professional life. So I'm very fortunate, and I'm very grateful to be able to join people on these journeys at this moment in time. So for what I have heard so far from my course participants is that these courses have not only been educational, but also emotional, professional, enriching journeys for all of us, because they have been co-created. And they usually transcend into community bonding. And I have seen many partnerships here flourish to this day, from the people who have met in the courses, but also extending the community into our so-called TTC allyship community there as well. So that's what happens usually post-course. People don't leave. This is also, as I told you, a valuable source of experience and expertise for me, because it's a rich learning opportunity, which I enjoy so much. And these are the photos of my course participants since, yes, July last year. As you can see, a lot of smiley faces, but this is usually taken on the last day. The first day is fun. The mid-days can be, like every transformational journey, they can be a little messy and confusing and everything, but we all end up with great ideas in the end, and supporting each other and with something concrete to actually share with the world. Which format of the courses is for you, depending on how much time and energy you can invest in this at particular moments in time. So 3-day intensives are actually ask us to dedicate 6 hours a day for 3 days. In 5-day intensives, they require 4 hours a day. So that's within a full week, from Monday to Friday. The 5-week signature courses, rhythm is us meeting twice a week, usually on Tuesday and Thursdays for 2 hours. And the 5-day intensive stretch, the blend of intensive signatures, it's 4 hour a day, but in 2 weeks, in 2 consecutive weeks. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of the first week, and Tuesday and Thursday of the next week, which allows us more time to communicate in between and have some time for reflection and integration in the time between the sessions. So there are many whys on why people should join us on these journeys, but I will share just the ones that I know my course participants, my friends have shared with me so far, and the whys for me. So the positive impact, basically, the tools to design the experiences actually allow us to create more positive impact for the world and destinations. That's what I care mostly about. And this is an opportunity basically to connect with like-minded professionals from various regions around the world. And basically these meaningful and complete transformational travel experiences that we design are basically force for good for people, communities, and the planet. The other thing is the market. So what we have seen far through our own research and other research that we closely follow is the increased customer satisfaction. The world needs what we are actually focusing on now. That's transformational experiences. But for the course participants, it's becoming values aligned and personally, professionally with our travelers. That's what we have also noticed been missing from the offerings on the market. And what comes out for the course participants is that they become TTC accredited transformers, as we call them. Because when the course is ended and when the capstones are approved, then everybody receives certificates and badges that can share through their communities and communities of professionals. And yes, we develop all these formats by listening and kind of responding to the needs of the people who wish to advance and enhance where they are at the moment in travel industry, or even jumping from other industries to travel. And finally, let me present the course journey departure dates in this year. So basically, we just had our 3-day intensive in March. The journey is still ongoing, as I told you. We're meeting today again. But what's ahead of us is the 5-day intensive in April from 8th to 12th. So as I'm not going to present too much of the intensive courses currently, because this was the only remaining departure date for this year. However, if there is a need, we can create an additional time for this, but you can see here what it usually looks like. The next one that I'm looking forward to is in April, as I told you. It's a 4-hour session that usually starts at this time. So because we have global cohorts from different time zones, so this is what they start in, depending on where you are. And they start at 9 a.m. for the Europe, and then you can go east and see where it is. So what they require, what the course requires from us here is usually additional 2 hours a week, in addition to the course hours, the session hours itself. What else awaits us this year? 5-week signature. There's one starting in May, from 14th May to 13th of June, and one in the fall, or in October, from 8th October to 7th November. And we end the year with a 5-day intensive stretch in November, basically November and December. What does it look like? So in the 5-week signature, we meet twice a week, as I already told you. So here are the starting hours. So we meet for 2 hours each time, whereas at 5-day intensive stretch, we meet for 2 consecutive weeks for 4 hours a day, starting at these little hours here. So I would like to wrap this up by saying that I have been very privileged to work with my colleagues here at the TTC, and I dare say friends, because we all share the values and the same beliefs into what the power of travel is, and what we can do to enhance the quality of lives of our travelers, but everybody that travel touches. I can see the importance of this work, and it gives us joy. So I know Sonia shares this with me, and that's why I'm looking forward to hopefully hosting you at one of the courses and co-creating with you. And I invite you to connect with me on LinkedIn for sure, or send me an email. And I'm here, same as Sonia, to answer any questions if you have so far. And I will give this back to you, Sonia, but you have the slides here as well.
Thank you very much, Ivana. That was amazing presentation. And I see that we already have some questions in the chat that we will take now in a minute. So as you have seen, the April course, which is the one that's coming now in a few weeks, is the only one that is in this time zone. Is the first one we do in this time zone, and we don't know when or if we are going to repeat it. So the thing is that we usually have graduates here in these calls to share their experience, but most of them are now sleeping at this time. So what we have here is clip from the last info session that one of our graduates came and shared her experience. So I would like to, let me see, I don't see the slide anymore.
It's okay.
Here.
Share.
Let's see if I can play it. Can you play it so we can see it?
Yep. Let me know if you see.
Yeah, we can see it. So feel free in the meantime, put questions in the chat and we will take them now in a moment.
About like who was in my cohort and some of those background details. So I discovered TTC in December, and it was, for me, kind of an immediate gut reaction, like, ooh, this is something that I need. However, our brain always overthinks, right? Like, even though your intuition is telling you one thing, your brain can override that. So I decided to go for it just because I felt that, little twinge pretty strongly. And I knew that at a minimum, at least based on my business, because I am a travel designer, that I could learn some things that would apply directly to my, existing one-on-one services. The things that really drew me were, the beginning and the end, because everybody focuses on the planning and then the actual traveling. But the things that are honestly the most important overlooked pieces are the why, which I had done a lot of that work. But especially after returning, that was the piece that I felt was missing for me and my services, and that I was the most intrigued about, in terms of that circle that Sonia went through. So that was one of the things that was really, I was drawn to. And I thought, well, maybe there's like a course idea in here that I could create as a result of this. So that was going in, kind of my mindset was open to the experience, and I ended up really changing my business model quite a bit as a result of this, like in a good way, because there were so many seeds planted throughout the conversations, and Ivana does the instructor does such a fantastic job at engaging the group, leading some really thought-provoking topics. So it is very interactive. It isn't, a classroom setting where you're just listening the entire time. But the goal, especially because this is, for people in business, is to be able to apply these concepts. And that's the reason why there's the capstone project. So, every single talk is really, related and goes back to, what's that seed that is growing in your brain that you could bring out into the world to really share this topic that, I think a lot of people, everybody in this room probably gets why it's important. And Sonia explained, the value of this, but there's such a gap in the average traveler's knowledge of what transformational travel is. And that word is often overused, misused. And, so we dove into that a lot as well. So really the result for me in the, throughout the conversations, throughout the course, and I did the 5 weeks. So there was kind of more time to digest some of the information, iterate my ideas, bounce some of those ideas off of the other, participants, and Ivana, the instructor. So that was really helpful, because the result was not what I was expecting, which is kind of focusing more on family travel, which I've always kind of thought about, but never quite did. And it just was one of those more intuitive things that I felt called to that particular niche. And that was, and now I'm like really excited about my business and what I'm launching. And so from that respect, it was a huge transformation, just, not only from a business standpoint, but also, I think personally, I learned a lot that I can apply to my own trips, which I'm excited to implement. And then the last thing I'll share just about like who's in the room for my session. We had a mix of destinations, and based on the introductions, there's certainly people that work, in, that aren't entrepreneurs like myself, but that work in businesses, whether that's for a destination, some, like retreat type planners, some people that coming from completely outside the travel industry, but have a background in transformation. They want to apply that to travel. So there are a couple of those individuals that, again, were like new to travel, and really just wanted to explore that, and having those different perspectives, you know, from people all around the travel industry was fascinating, in terms of adding, you know, unique perspectives to conversations and having a well-rounded experience. So I'll stop there. Maybe that spurred on some questions. I'm happy to answer anything, you know, personally in my experience. So
That's
yeah, any
fantastic, Susie.
questions?
Thanks for. Okay, so we heard from Susie, and now we will take questions that you have. I see here, Ivana, a couple of questions. So Renuka is asking, does this apply more to developing inbound or also assists with outbound travel?
Basically, the experience design, the way we approach it, it doesn't really matter. So basically it comes down to whatever you are interested in, because I mean, as Susie just said, we have had people, what the group where she was at didn't have is people from hotelier business. So there have been people from all over the industry. It truly doesn't matter. It depends on what we say, who you are and what you want to focus on, Renuka. So, you know, like, let me just, all right. So you're a tour operator, you're focusing on Africa, right? If I remember correctly. So we've had people with a similar, let's say, story, a professional and personal story from different regions creating in another region. So that works as well, but also for the people who bring people into their own destinations. These people usually within the tour stewardships, tour tourism authority, you know, so it depends, but it doesn't really separate people that way, because it's about the how we design these experiences so they can be transformational for the traveler, but also responsible, sustainable, regenerative, depending on what you're focused on during the design phase and the trip phase and the post-trip phase, and how we develop real partnerships with the people and the benefits for the people we design with, that meaning the local partners, the local communities, and so on. So it actually doesn't really matter whether you're inbound or outbound, because it depends on what you want to accomplish for the destinations and your partners and your clients, basically. Did I respond good with, yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Ivana. And thanks, Renuka, for the question. So Saman said, how do you define regenerative tourism?
Right. So, okay. So for that would be something that we jump into the course already. Well, let me use these words. I mean, it's a deep topic and a long topic. So this is not a course on regenerative travel, although let me start by saying why we see the connection between transformational and regenerative. So I will share a personal story. So back then, when I started in the early 2000s, when I started researching and dealing with sustainable travel, being one of the very few voices in the region, so I'm in the Balkans region in Southeastern Europe, and I was basically alone. There were no talks of regenerative back then. So when the regenerative era, let's say, started later, I didn't feel too good seeing the siloing again between the people who believe in sustainable regenerative, because I truly trust that staying out of the silos and joining in with who we are and what we can contribute with is actually what will lead us to the future that we want to co-create together. So back then, when I realized what people have been talking about regenerative travel, I realized that all the while I was into sustainable. That's what I was actually thinking about. My belief and understanding of sustainable travel actually turned out to be in the regenerative arena. So basically, regeneration, yes, it goes a little bit further than what we call sustainable, but I wouldn't even say the step forward. It would be a wrong thing to say. I would say that regenerative travel is a way we see how the travel is connected to the wider web of being, or interconnectedness on the planet, and how travel actually can be used as a pathway towards helping the destinations, the people, the nature thrive again. And travel being only a, let's say, a pathway towards it. So away from travel being a thing for itself, an industry that actually benefits only the business players in the arena. So that's how I see that. And while we see a very close connection between transformational and regenerative, is that I mentioned earlier, in regenerating the places and ultimately the entire planet. It's our future goal, is through travel this way, is that in order to be able to perceive ourselves as a part of a larger whole, so the inherent interconnectedness of who we are in our businesses and the world itself, so the natural world of the planet and the rhythm of the planet. So trying not to go into details here. We need basically to understand and to care, to understand from our minds how we blend and what our roles in the greater web of life there is, and also to be feeling from the heart how we belong there, what we can do. And we can't do that by having a list of criteria, for example, sustainable criteria to do for us as businesses, or a list of things to do for us as clients. What we need to do is to, understand and feel. And the way we design transformational travel experiences is basically allowing people the opportunities to see differently and feel differently. And after being changed that way, we're only able to help regenerate the places on our planet that need regeneration, or help other ones thrive into the future.
Thank you,
No.
Ivana.
Saman, I will, in respect of everybody else here, I mean, I love this topic and I would like to engage with you on a different channel. So no, this is not the time for the discussion between the sustainable and regenerative, but that's one of my favorite topics. So
we can have another session just on that.
Definitely.
And feel free, if you have some, I don't know, other questions, following up questions, we are available as well. You can reach out. We can do one-to-one, answer all your questions that you may have. We can put our details later in the chat as well. So let's see if somebody else have more questions. Kencho, do you have any question? Let me see, you're muted. No.
That was such a good presentation. Thank you. A transformation travel to me is such a huge word. I mean, we can use all fancy words to give meaning to it, theoretically, but my interest is how do you translate that on the ground in terms of practical terms, in the sense, a doable sense. I, for one, believe that you cannot truly transform somebody, in the sense you cannot will transformation on somebody else, and what I mean is transformation is an individual thing, right? It is individual preference, so to speak. So I mean, you cannot force transformation on somebody else, you know. And at the end of the day, for instance, me, if I have to find the transformation myself and have to do the transforming myself, you know. And at best, as a supplier, you know, as a tour designer, what I do in Bhutan, and incidentally, my tour company is called Transformational Tours, by the way. And what I try to do, what I attempt to do, is create an enabling environment that will help foster that transformative journey in our clients, you know. And you create that atmosphere, and it's up to the client to find that transformative energies, you know, to connect with that atmosphere, you know. And I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, how do you translate that on the ground, and also, like, how you create an enabling environment also depends from country to country, right? Culture to culture. The way I do here is, I'm sure it may not work in some other countries, you know. For example, you know, tourists to Bhutan come, especially my tourists. I mean, of course, it also for other tour operators in Bhutan. They come from these really strong, high stress-inducing nations. You know, advanced nations from the east as well as from the west. So when they come to Bhutan, you know, I try to create an atmosphere where it distresses them, you know. And I mean, I don't want to divulge too much information of my secrets or whatever, but I try to create an environment. And at the end of the day, you know, and transformation is such a subtle thing, you know. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't, but you know, I think is that environment. And I'm interested in knowing how, you know, in your experience, in your you know, teaching experience or whatever, how you create an enabling environment.
Right. So what you're already doing something obviously the right way, the way we believe. We're not saying that's the right way or the only way. We have several frameworks and tools that we use for that. So people who are already being engaged, like you are, in transformational travel experience design, will recognize some of the things already that you're applying, and then as Susie Chow earlier said, and then recognize some of the things that, like, oh yeah, I have been missing these parts, right? So but what you are saying, I absolutely agree with you. This is how we perceive transformational travel design. Is we say we create conditions conducive to transformations, or as you said, the environment or the context that is the most likely for the transformation, individual transformations to occur. However, that's why we say it's a co-creational journey, because I cannot change for you or you can't change for me, right? But what we can do is help each other through that process. So there are many ways. I don't want to spoil the party, but there are many ways to do that, of course, depending on, as you said, the market. I don't like the word, but where people come from and who our clients are. So defining who the ideal or desired client is, that's very important. We start with designing what the why, personal why, or the business why is. So why do you do the work that you do? Why do you do transformational travels already? So how is that connected? And then we try to apply the frameworks that we have and see where people like yourselves, for example, have already used some of the tools and parts of the frameworks. Susie said the circle. Yes, we use the foundational framework is circular. So what already you apply and whatnot. But you know, like there are ideas, whether that's depending on what you create, whether they're one-on-one or group transformational journeys that you create. They're highly personalized, and of course there are little secrets in whether you can employ other travelers in the group, for example, to help each other on the way. So it depends on the design, basically. No two journeys are the same. So you can't, I mean, even if you have your own framework for how you create the journeys, they're never the same, because we need to pay special attention where the clients are and where they want to get. That's the main point, and how we support them on the journey. But yes, no guarantees in transformational world. You can't guarantee that. We talk a lot about transformation economy, which is a far more wider context than transformational travel itself. And we have seen the same principles over there, is that you can't stop smoking or lose a few pounds on somebody else's behalf. But what you can do is guide them, support them, lead them, and so on. So that's the same thing we apply in transformational travel experiences. Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kencho. We are arriving at the end of the call today. Time flies when you have fun, but feel free to reach out. I will follow with an email with the recording. And if you have any questions or you wonder if the course is for you, I'm happy to have a one-to-one conversation with you. So I will share my email in the chat, but I will also email you. So feel free to reply. And I want to say thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you for the presentation, Ivana,
So
as
nice
well,
to meet you.
and your time and your energy and your amazing questions. And yeah, hopefully we see again each other soon. Take care and a beautiful day ahead. Lots of love.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.